lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, not likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into...
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to State of the Steelers and our first earlier live that I've done. This is the first time I come live on at this time. But we're going to be doing a preview show. We're going to be talking about the upcoming matchup between the Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders. And then we're going to take your calls if we get some. I know last time we did this, nobody called in. Continue to do this. I'm sure eventually we'll get some phone calls in. But that'll be at the second half of the show. For right now, I just kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about the game and what to expect. And first thing and foremost, can't start off by not saying, rest in peace to Franco Harris, who passed away suddenly yesterday. It's not been disclosed as of yet as to the cause of death or anything like that, but it seemed, I think I read somewhere that one news outlet said it was natural causes. And so, it's unfortunate. It's, it's going to be a celebration of the retirement of his jersey. Now it's a celebration of his life. And I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the fan base are going to be rocking when it comes to Saturday night and celebrating Franco Harris. But we'll start off with a moment of silence. All right. And so, I think this is going to be a game, like in the title says, it's time to, we need to get back onto some old school football. The weather for this game is going to be really low. It's going to be a cold day. And so it's going to be, I anticipate this game is going to be a little bit difficult for the ball traveling through the air, catching the ball. Also kicking the ball is going to be kind of difficult. And so this is going to be an old school style football game. I'm anticipating the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to continue the trend that they've currently been on when it comes to rushing the ball. We got a few guys in the live chat. Let's say hello. Jaime G from the Drunk Turkey Show. How you doing, Jaime? Valley. Oh, thank you. George Teston, how you doing? And welcome to State of the Steelers. Please, guys, if y'all would just hit the like button, kind of get the algorithm going. But first thing and foremost, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett appears to be back in order. He seems to be back in the fix of things. I think he's going to be starting. I know he hasn't cleared completely yet, but he's been a full participant the last couple of days. He's still showing up on the on the injury report as a concussion. So that indicates to me that he's not being cleared. But I think he's on the direction to being cleared. I think you have to have 2 full practices before you can be cleared, and then another day without any symptoms. And I think he just completed that as of yesterday. And so I anticipate Kenny Pickett being in this game. I anticipate, him not losing a step. He's going to come in. He's ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a cold game. So, I hear it's going to be pretty windy as well. This is going to be a tough matchup in Heinz Field. Oh, wow. Second time I've done that this year. In Acrisure Stadium, I apologize. Also on the list is defensive back Josh Jackson. He's been a full participant the last couple of days. He had an ankle. I anticipate him coming back for this matchup as well. He played solid, sparingly when he's played. I know he's been dealing with his ankle injury for a minute, but when he has come in the game, he has played solidly. A little bit of concern is Deontay Johnson. He did not participate yesterday with a toe injury. Was a limited participant on Tuesday. He's come up before on the injury report when it comes to, this toe, and I believe he's also had a hip. Najee Harris didn't participate yesterday and was a limited participant the day before with a hip injury himself. Terrell Edmonds has been not participating this week with a hamstring injury. Those three right there, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, and Terrell Edmonds, are going to be huge if they end up not being able to go against Josh Jacobs, Carr, and the rest of the Las Vegas Raiders. And so we really need to get these guys healthy, and we need these guys to play. And it's a short week. The Steelers play on Saturday night, and don't forget, y'all, it's Saturday night. Hate for you guys to go into Sunday thinking you're going to watch a game and then realize it happened the night before. But Saturday night, it's a shorter week. These guys need to get healthy. These guys are going to be key if the Steelers are going to win this game. Derek Watt, he has been a full participant with the ankle. A little bit of positive here. Miles Jack, he's coming back. He's a limited participant so far, but he has participated in the last two practices with a groin injury. Pat Freiermuth has been a full participant with a foot. Now, he didn't play much last week, or he did play, but he wasn't targeted at all in the passing game last week, Pat Freiermuth. And at first, I thought maybe that was a quarterback thing, maybe that was a coordinator thing, but it was brought to light from DK Sports that he had a pretty serious foot injury that was hindering his ability to probably run and cut and do things of those nature. And so it seems like he was just mainly used as a decoy in this last game, and wasn't targeted at all because to protect him from the injury, and probably wasn't 100% out there, and so wasn't open. And him coming back and playing in these couple of games, these practices, and being a full participant, I think that's a good sign. He's a good step forward that he's going to be good to go this upcoming weekend. Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi, they've been player decisions on as far as when they have been out, and so is J.C. Hassenauer. It's not football injury related; it's personal. And so that's what it looks like on the Steelers side. As far as the Vegas Raiders go, Alex Bars, their guard has a knee. He's been limited. Their tackle, Jackson Barton, has a back. He's been limited. Defensive tackle, Andrew Billings, with a fibula, limited participant. Darian Butler, quadricep, limited participant. And Duran Hamron, their safety, has been a limited participant. The other guard, Dylan Parham, with a knee. And a backup running back, Zamir White, with an ankle, also limited. And Rock Yassin, cornerback, has also been did not participate with a knee. And so for the most part, they've had their little bumps and bruises associated with the game, but I think that they're coming in pretty healthy. I think they've won 4 out of 5 games in the last few weeks. I know they had this crazy game against the Patriots, and so you look at this and that factor. They're in a little bit of a upward trajectory as well, similar to the Carolina Panthers, the opponent that the Pittsburgh Steelers just played. And so, they were able to take care of them and handle them handily. I anticipate this team doing the same as long as, we get these key players back in time. I got a question right here in the live chat. It says, by Hammy G, he goes, do you think the cold weather is a factor with the injuries? Oh, yeah, definitely. I know these guys are probably going to take some type of, pain medication before the game or whatnot. But, you're dealing with something like a shoulder, a neck, a back, a fibula, things of that nature. When you're getting hit, that's going to ache, especially when the temperature, I believe, and let's look it up so we're accurate. I want to say it was like 12 degrees is forecasted at kickoff is at 12 degrees with 14 mile per hour wind. And then it's supposed to drop down to 7 degrees. I think it's supposed to feel like in the negatives or something like that. And so it's going to be a very, very cold game. And I think it's going to affect the passing game. It's going to affect the kicking game significantly. This is a game where I think that, the kickers are going to have to get a little close because, making contact with that ball and kicking the football is going to be it's going to be a tough task in this game, in my opinion. Great question. Let's see. Now, what is it that the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion, need to do in order to win this game? One, they got to take care of the football. They need to, no turnovers, things of that nature. Keep developing, but I think they're going to have to run the ball. This is a game that's going to be won in the trenches. And so whoever is going to get that push, whoever is going to, be able to move the ball and get on the other sides, be able to move the offensive line back on defense is going to win this game. Now, when you look at the Las Vegas Raiders, and you look at, let's look at their stats, and we can kind of determine what it is that they want to do. I mean, they have Derek Carr, who has played in 14 games. He's had a pretty good season up to this point. He has 3,348 yards, averaging about 240 yards a game, 7.1 average. His long of 60. He has 23 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, been sacked 24 times for an 89.2 rating. So he's had a pretty good year so far. When it comes to the rushing aspect, you have Josh Jacobs, who's basically been their running game. It's Josh Jacobs, and then behind him is Derek Carr in the rushing game. So, I think all focus, especially in a game with this type of temperature, is going to be Josh Jacobs. Now, he has, he's rushed for 291 times for 1,495 yards, 5.1 average, 86-yard long. He's got 11 touchdowns. He's rushing at 106.8 yards a game. He has had 2 fumbles, but hasn't lost any yet. And so, the next person to have, yards is Derek Carr, the quarterback, and he has 88. And so this entire thing is all on Josh Jacobs when it comes to rushing the ball. When it comes to receiving the ball, it's kind of the same thing. You have Davante Adams, who has 151 targets on the year. The nearest guy is – hold on. Sorry about that. My phone rang and answered on my give me 1 second. Let me answer this real quick. 1 second, y'all. My brother called me. I just need to let him know I'm doing a live. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. We have Davante Adams, who's he's got 151 targets. Next guy is going to be Matt Collins, who has 85 targets. And so yards is about the same. You have Davante Adams having twice as many yards as the next guy at 1,275 yards. Matt Collins has 628. And so key focus is going to be Josh Jacobs, Davante Adams. That's where they want to throw. That's where they want to run. Defensively, Max Crosby is a guy that we need to keep our eye on. He's going to be going up against Chuks Okorafor. Right now, Max Crosby has 11.5 sacks on the year. He's got 78 tackles altogether for the year. He's going to be a disruptor. He is a guy that, got well acquainted with Ben Roethlisberger in the last time we played them. And so, he's a guy the Steelers need to keep an eye on. You're also looking at Denzel Perryman. He's their middle linebacker. He's been a disruptor, especially in the running game. He's got a lot of tackles. And so those are the guys you have to focus in on. As far as interceptions go, Duron Harmon, their safety, he's got 2. He's Denzel Perryman has 1, their middle linebacker. Amik Robertson has 1. He's a cornerback. So, I mean, they don't have that many turnovers. So the Steelers can kind of play a little bit freer in this game and not worry too much about, turning the ball over. But I'll be taking some of your questions, and I'll also be opening up the phone line. Let me do that real quick. So if you guys are interested in calling in, I have the phone lines open. Phone number is rolling at the bottom. It's going to be 726-202-4054. And so I have the phone lines open. If anybody does want to call, give us a call if you have any comments, questions. If not, no big deal. I know that doing this in the day might be a little bit different, versus at night. I know some of you guys might be at work, so to speak. So Steeler fan says, yes, Vegas boys can't play in the cold. Actually, they can't. Derek Carr, I think, hasn't won a game when the weather is like sub 40 or something like that. And so, yeah, you got to point to that, Steelers fan. You definitely do. What do you call it? Oh, Big Blue is in the house. Well, how's it going, Daniel Rocha? Also from the Drum Turkey Show. So, yeah, if you guys want to call, it's going to be, I was going to put that in the live chat. My bad, guys. Putting it in the live chat now. All righty, let me pin this to the top. There it is. But yeah, if you guys don't want to call in and you just have some questions, hit me up in the comment section. If not, what we'll do is we'll just kind of go through some reports that are out there for a little bit, and then we'll call it a show. Let's look up what's going on in Steelers news. Oh, I forgot to mention. I don't know if you guys caught the breaking news that I just put out there, but the Pittsburgh Steelers have not just the throwback uniforms, but they're going throwback all the way around, y'all. Look at that. Gold end zones from back in the day. They're going back to 1972 when it comes to this game this weekend. And they've painted the end zones gold. They have the throwback uniforms going on. One thing I was kind of hoping for, and you guys tell me in the live chat which is your favorite uniform, but I was hoping for the gray face masks from back in the day as well. I know, don't get me wrong, I think the black is sleek and it looks nice, but for this game, and only this game, the gray face mask would have been nice to have seen with the old school uniform. They're going to have a patch on the instead of the Steelers logo on the shoulder here or on the chest. It's going to have a 50th year anniversary or celebration of the Immaculate Reception. They're going to be celebrating Franco Harris retiring his number, I believe, still. I don't think they're going to take that off the cards. And they're also going to celebrate his life. It's just unfortunate that, the sudden passing, that he had so close to, this ceremony is, it's just very sad. But, yeah, we're taking your questions. We're taking your calls. Hit us up. But let's just see what's going on in the Steelers world. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Franco Harris and stuff like that. Let's see. So this is from SI.com, all Steelers. They say Steelers can officially make Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison reunion a reality. So they're thinking that they're already thinking draft. Nothing wrong with that. But they're thinking draft. With the likelihood of this team moving into the playoffs, it's just probably not going to be there. And so I understand why. But, Jordan Addison, in my opinion, is probably going to be a first-round pick. I'm not sure if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go that route in the first round. There's a lot of holes that are going to be filled now. Now, free agency is going to answer a lot of those holes. Because in my opinion, you need a defensive tackle, you need a middle linebacker, you need a cornerback on the defense. You probably need a left guard on the offense. Mason Cole, in my opinion, has played, up to par, in my opinion. I think he's done a fantastic job this year. He's probably been the most consistent lineman on the team. And so with that being said, I think that they bring him back as far as a center, and they continue with Mason Cole. James Daniels did fairly well, I think, on the left side. It's been inconsistent, and that's been with Dan Moore, and that's been with Dotson now. The Steelers do like an interior offensive lineman that can pull and run down the field. That's why they got, in my opinion, that's why they ended up drafting Kendrick Green last year, was his mobility and ability to pull and run down the field. Fortunately, his size was just a little bit too small, and he was unable to stay on his feet. And so, I think the Steelers are going to aim for somebody that's physical and aggressive and nasty and able to move in the front interior lineman. I think they're going for somebody to replace Dotson in the left side. Offensively also, you're probably looking at, you do need a receiver, in my opinion. Maybe a left tackle is probably higher on that list, but, I think the Steelers might like what they see in Dan Moore. I know he's had some struggles early on, but I think he's gone a little bit better as the year progressed. And so, to go receiver in the first round to get Jordan Anderson, man, I'm really making this difficult. Jordan Addison in the first round when you have a lot of other big holes, and plus you have Calvin Austin coming in. That's I get it. The Bengals did that with Burrow and Chase, and it worked out well for them, in my opinion. So, maybe try to, redo the same formula. I don't know. I think the Steelers have gone away from getting the fundamentals of football, getting the trenches for too long. And I think it's affected the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last couple of years, and especially in this year. And you're seeing that with, this team having to rebuild so often. They've replaced the offensive line coach, I think, every year for the last 3 years, something like that. And that's not a formula for a successful formula, in my opinion. And so don't forget, guys, if you guys want to call in, have questions or comments, phone number is 726-202-4054. If not, you can just leave them in the live chat and we'll answer them there. Let's see. Jared Devil's in here. How's it going, Jared? Let's see. George Tesson goes, I think Josh McDaniel was the head coach for Denver when they beat us with Tebow. That is correct. Yes, he was. Robert Cotton goes Steelers. Win one for Franco. Yes, sir. Brian Brown, how's it going? Yeah, Steelers fan. She's at work right now. But yeah, so these guys here are thinking that maybe, former Pitt star, and this is from, let me share it. Give them their props. And so, Steelers can officially make Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison reunion a reality. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if the Steelers want to go that route come the first round. I think they need to fix the trenches. Let me know what you guys think. Who would you go in your first round? Maybe not person, but position. What do you think? And I'm thinking positionally, I think they got to go deep. I think they go trenches, whether it's offense or defense. I'm not sure. Let's see. Behind the Steel Curtain, who I do an audio only podcast that airs out on Saturdays. I'm actually going to record the one that I will be recording for Saturday here momentarily. This came out. This is by Andrew Wilbar. He says 3 coaches the Steelers should fire at the end of the season. Fans agree Matt Canada should be fired at the end of the season, but he shouldn't be the only one. Here's my 2 cents on that, though, real quick. Just on the title and the part where everybody agrees that Matt Canada should go. If Matt Canada goes, by all means, that's it is what it is. I'll be happy for the next person that comes in. But I think, since the bye week, I think that the offense has opened up a little bit more. And there's some context for that. Prior to the bye week, you had Mitch Trubisky who started 4 weeks. You had Kenny Pickett start 4 weeks. Mitch Trubisky wasn't part of this team last season, so they had to start over with Mitch Trubisky to try to implement and put in a offense that was tailor-made for him. It didn't work out. Mitch Trubisky wasn't the guy that the Steelers thought he was when they got him in free agency. And so they had to flip the script, start all over, and put in a rookie quarterback against a gauntlet of games. Now, in my opinion, you probably aren't going to go throw an entire playbook at a rookie quarterback when you're playing the likes of the Buffalo Bills defense, the Eagles defense, the Miami Dolphins defense. You're going to have to simplify that offense. You're going to have to tailor-made it to what little you know about him, because up to this point, Kenny Pickett didn't, he wasn't the guy. He got very few first team reps. I'm sure everybody can remember that. There wasn't very many first team reps that was going out to Kenny Pickett in the beginning of the year or in the preseason or any of those things. I think it was he got like a handful, came that third, maybe second preseason game. And so all that had to change. You're not going to throw an entire playbook at a rookie quarterback. Now, they allow that rookie quarterback to develop with what he had and grow a little at a time. Now, the bye week came, much needed at the time that it was at, and the Steelers were able to hone in and open up the playbook more. And in my opinion, I'm starting to see a little bit more of this dynamic, quote unquote, dynamic offense that we were supposed to be expecting to see, especially in the running game here recently. I mean, you can't deny the fact that the Steelers in the since the bye week, I think all but one time rushed over 120 yards. They're doing something right. And to just go up there and uproot it, as this team is building confidence, as this team is starting to become a team that looks like a competent team that can put out some, points out there. I completely understand it though. In the beginning of the year, it was 3 and out, and it was frustrating. And then it's gotten to the point where, then all right, it's no longer 3 and out. There's some field goals going on. And now it seems like, especially in the last week's matchup against the Panthers, that they kind of took maybe another turn right there. They scored some points. They put some touchdowns on the field. Now, in this game here, you can't really judge, the offensive outcome when you're playing in a game that feels like -10 and the wind is moving. That's going to be a low scoring game no matter what offense is out there. And so, as much as many fans probably would agree that Matt Canada should be fired, I don't think he should. Let's see, who else does he think they should be fired? Let's see. I'm fairly positive it's Terrell Austin, Terrell Austin, I'm not saying he should be fired, but I would understand the heat on Terrell Austin. This is a defense that's been put together for a while. This is a defense that has been proven for a while, that has talent. And I understand TJ Watt went down with a serious injury first game of the year. But you can't just let one player, completely derail your scheme and what you're trying to put out there. And so that one, Terrell Austin being on a hot seat based on that, and based on the fact that, the Steelers rushing game is not that consistent defensively. They'll put a lid on it, they did against Carolina, and they showed up. But the game before against the Ravens, it was not so great. And so, getting consistent and moving in the right direction is definitely needed. And, I understand, not having TJ Watt, your defensive player of the year, on your team, it's going to make a huge difference on the productivity of your defense. But it can't be this much. While he was out, I think the Steelers won one game. And that's like the only game that the Steelers have won since acquiring TJ Watt and his availability not be there. It can't be that. It can't be that. And so let's look at some questions and comments. I'm sure people aren't too pleased with I don't think Matt Canada is the guy that needs to go, take. Let's see. Aquatic Life says, drafting defensive linemen is a priority. Must stop the run. Replacement for Bush. Drafting a few offensive linemen would not be a bad thing. Lockdown corner free agency can solve so many problems. I agree. And free agency wise, the Pittsburgh Steelers have put themselves in position, in my opinion, to potentially have a big free agency. You look back at the last couple of years, and there was a lot of questions like, hey, there's restructures to be done. There's money to be had to go get an offensive tackle. Fisher, the former tackle for the Chiefs, was one that has been a guy that many Steeler fans have put in live chats throughout, mine and behind the steel curtains and all over the place. referencing, go get this tackle, go get this guy, go get that guy. And yet the Steelers didn't. They maintained the players that they had, and now they're in a position going into next year that they don't have a franchise quarterback bill to pay, so to speak. And they got some money that they didn't restructure before that they can move around into and maybe make a few big splashes in this offseason. Me personally, I've said it many times, the Pittsburgh Steelers is a family business. Re-sign Terrell Edmonds and bring his brother Tremaine over and have him line up next to Miles Jack. And that will solve a lot of those running game issues. You bring back the likes of Javon Hargrave as well. Now that's putting a lot of money into the defense, but I don't really follow the narrative of, putting you have to spread the money out evenly. I think there has to be a balance there. And when you look at the offense, that balance is young, great, talented players on rookie contracts. You can't go out and draft, most of the years 2 first rounders. You're not going to be able to go in there and draft a first round offensive player and a first round defensive player. It's not how it works. And so you have to have that complement. So if you have one side heavy in free agency, the other side has to be heavy in draft players that are building the fundamental squad that you have. And I think that's what the Steelers are doing. You have a running back, first rounder on a rookie contract. You have George Pickens, who's a second round receiver, but let's face it, he should have been a first rounder, and had it not been for his knee injury in college in Georgia, then he more than likely would have, and maybe even the top receiver. And he's arguably the top receiver that came out of this draft. You have Kenny Pickett, who's a first rounder. And so you have Pat Freiermuth, who's a second round tight end, also on a rookie contract. And so you have these pieces there. You have these possibilities. And if the Steelers go into the draft, pick up some key maulers in the offensive line, or maybe at least one, a guy that can be built up, a Marquise Pouncey, but on the guard position, and Alan Faneca, so to speak. Get somebody like that into this offensive line. And this team can get very dangerous very quickly. Very quickly. I think they have a way of doing that. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, man. I know I'd appreciate that. This is one of my best friends. He's actually my best man at my wedding from, it's been almost a year. In 2 days, it'll be a year from now. Thank you. I appreciate that. JJ25 says left tackle first. Aquatic Live says our offensive line is salvageable for now. Concentrate on the defensive line. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're looking at Cam Hayward. He's up there in his career. He's up there in age at this point. The amount of time that he has left is going to be limited. You don't really want to throw just anybody out there as a first round rookie. You want, Cam Hayward wasn't like that, where he was, it took him some time to learn the defense and then to be get out there for his knowledge to match his talent, so to speak. And that's kind of how you want to bring these guys in. They're going to be rotational pieces, of course, especially because of the manner in which the offense is run. They run high-powered, high-fast speed offense. These guys are going to get tired, so you have to rotate them. But making them the primal focus of the game, not so much. Let them learn it. Let them get accustomed to it and then get into it. But, yeah, the defensive line, it's getting up there. I mean, you have Loudermilk and Leal, who are probably the future of the defensive line. You have Cam Hayward, who's getting up there. Ogunjobi's on his last year, so there's a question mark if he's going to be here long term. Martavius Adams is an okay rotational piece. Not really a nose tackle guy that's like a Javon Hargrave type that's going to secure what you need him to do. I mean, the Steelers really needed not to let go of Javon Hargrave. That was a big, big mix-up. Let's see. Brian Brown goes, I don't think the Steelers should be picking all players that went to Pitt. People stuck up for Matt Canada way too long just because he coached at Pitt. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Pitt fan. I'm not a college fan, period. Like I'll watch college here and there. I don't root for any team in particular. Once the season is over, I tend to start looking at college just for the upcoming draft and things of that nature. And so, yeah, I couldn't tell you. I know he coached at Pitt at one point. I know that he recruited Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh, but didn't get the chance to coach him. I heard he was out of there before then. I heard that his time in Pittsburgh was at Pitt. I'm sorry, was good. He was able to move the ball effectively and run pretty well. And so, I don't know. But yeah, if that can't be a reason why, you want to keep a guy is based on what they did in the collegiate level in your town. Let's see. Aquatic Live, Brian Flores, DC. I can get behind that. I definitely could. I think he's a fantastic. He was a fantastic head coach. He turned that franchise around, the Miami Dolphins, that is. And what he was able to do defensively and left that defensive mark on that team, that's something that I would like to see the Pittsburgh Steelers, start to do and start to follow in, his philosophy, so to speak. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I thought that, nothing against Terrell Austin or anything like that, but history, he's not the best defensive coordinator when it comes to what he's put out there. And so, in my opinion, yeah, man, I would jump all over that. Let's see. George Teston he has the same card. He had a Steelers scrapbook when he was a kid and taped it to my scrapbook along with other Steelers. Boy, did I mess up. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Let's see. The longer the team and coach play, wait. Robert Cotton goes, the longer the team and coach play and coach, they are getting better. Look at the running back recently and the O-line and Matt Canada. I agree. Sometimes we just need to show a little bit of patience. Najee Harris came in early on this season and a month into it, everybody was already ready to, give up on him and go Jalen Warren. He should be RB1, yada, yada, yada. Najee was hurt. The offensive line was new to him. They needed a gel. They were new to each other. They needed to gel and grow together and become a collective, cohesive unit. And since they've done that and been able to do so, they've definitely turned it around. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to believe it. But this was a rebuilding year. When the Steelers decided to, they chose development of their rookie quarterback over not so much wins, but over perhaps maybe somebody who could operate this offense a little bit better due to the fact that their experience in the NFL was a little bit higher. That told me that they were going to be moving in the direction of this is going to be our guy. This is our future. We need to develop him into that. Now, the standard is a standard, and they expect to win when it comes, through that development, which is something that Mike Tomlin has said before. And so that's just another way of saying we were rebuilding to get better. Every team needs to do that. And the fact that this team is turning a corner, middle of the season, is still relevant, still in the hunt on a rebuilding season, that tells you that they're building it in the right direction, in my opinion. Let's see. Yep, the O-line was just put together this year. That's true. If they pick up Hargrave and Tremaine Edmonds, that would be awesome. Look for cornerback in the draft along with O-line, and they would be in good shape. I agree. In fact, I was on the Unofficial Steelers podcast on Mark Davison's channel, Steelers Nation Australia. I'm not sure. I would think it was his, because Nathan from In Hindsight is also on the show. And it's a merry-go-round show. In fact, the next time that it'll be on State of the Steelers, but it'll be on Tuesday. We just go in a circle and we switch channels. So you have to follow and subscribe to all of us to find it. We talked about Hargrave and Tremaine Edmonds and how awesome that would be, and have Joey Porter Jr. on the outside as a cornerback. That would be awesome. Let's see. We all need to hear your all-time and all-star Pittsburgh Steelers team, and I'll get into that. I definitely will. Thank you for that question, but that on its own is a full segment, and I think I'm going to be doing that one, as soon as the Steelers officially are no longer playing. But yeah, me and Jaime have talked about that. He wants to hear my all-time Steelers team, and that goes for players that I've seen personally, and I'm going to put that together. Every position from quarterback to field goal kicker to punter to middle linebacker, safety to guard, center, tackle. I'm going to list my favorite players in those positions from players that I personally have seen. And so look out for that. Hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss it. Let's see. We got a couple of more, and then I'm going to give it we're going to wrap it up, guys. Let's see. Brian Brown goes, what about the pass game across the middle? Can Tremaine Edmonds cover? The Steelers linebacker coverage is worse than its run support. I think he can. One thing about him coming in from, Virginia, was that he was extremely big and fast, especially for his size. I assume he can cover fairly well. He did a good job against the Steelers when we played against him, against our running backs and our tight ends. So, I can only match him up to that. When I look at players and I look at potential pickups and free agency, and I'm looking at players through the middle of the season, I'm not looking at their highlights. I'm not looking at what they did in college. I'm looking at what they did against the Steelers during the Steelers game against them. And he was a force. He's been a force. He's been a struggle to get around. And so I think that he would be a amazing, amazing pickup if the Steelers can get him. Let's see. Thank you, Steelers fan. Like, follow, and subscribe. George Teston, I live close to Penn State, and last year I really liked Porter Jr., but all this year he may be overhyped a bit. He might be playing not to get hurt. He played better last year. Well, the Steelers have a very, very high second-round pick. That second-round pick that the Pittsburgh Steelers got from Chicago Bears, I think, is looking like 33, 35 overall, somewhere around there. This is a good possibility that the Chicago Bears can end up with the first or second overall pick in the first round. Them giving us that pick for Chase Claypool, bravo, Omar Khan, bravo. I never want to put down a player or anything like that, and I'm not putting down Chase Claypool. I thought he did, like Mike Tomlin said, I appreciate his efforts. He went out there, he put his body on the line. He may not have been the most physical guy. He may not have been able to stand up and stay on his feet the most. And he may not be a guy that, reached for the ball or played to his height or physicality. But if somebody thinks that he's worth the 33rd, 35th overall pick, by all means, buddy, you can take him. And so, I appreciate what he did when he did it. His rookie season, he flashed. He made it seem like he was a guy that could be a guy. I think he allowed that to get to his head a little bit in certain ways. And, he became, in my opinion, a little bit of a diva. And so, he's had all the physical attributes to be a guy. He had the height, the speed, the size, the strength. For whatever reason, he just couldn't put it together. And so it is what it is. I want to thank everybody that was in the live chat. We're going to put a bow on this one. I want to thank everybody that asked your questions. We'll be doing this once a week where I take your calls. I'm going to try to figure out which time and night works best that I can start receiving phone calls. That way we get it together. Let me know in the comment section if you're listening back to this. When would be the best time do you guys think and day for me to put out a show where you guys would be able to call us and call in? Let me know. But, we'll be coming back with some more content before the game. The Steelers play this Saturday night. It's going to be a special game in remembrance of the Immaculate Reception, the Steelers team that was, and Franco Harris, and celebrate his retirement of his jersey number and his life. And so rest in peace to Franco Harris, and we'll leave you guys with that. Go Steelers. Peace.